go.
man. So what goes on with you?
Oh, not much. The like I sent you that Marco Polo about that Japanese Arasaka that I finished.
Oh yeah, yeah. That thing looked fucking sweet.
Right? It was really fun to work on. It's a cool little gun.
Fucking lower this fucking thing down. Yeah. So when I was on the road trip, I went back to Jacksonville, North Carolina,
Yeah.
and I stayed with one of my brothers out there, and he has um freaking doggone these old weapons that were passed down to him by, I believe, his uncle or his
Hmm.
grandfather, someone in his family. And man, when I say classic old weapons, he had a Luger, a German Luger, with the "What are you doing, naked baby?" I got a little naked baby running in here. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You gotta go to bed. You gotta put clothes on first. Go put clothes on, girl. What's wrong with you? Isn't it fun, dude? Little kids love just running around naked, man.
I know they enjoy that shit.
They fucking love it, dude. They love it, man. It's crazy, and she'll run around sprinting, just fucking wanting to be naked, man, and just love it. Ah, just freaking the fuck out. It's funnier than shit, dude. It's
Oh
fucking
yeah.
hilarious, man. I love it. It's funnier than shit. Man, kids are the best. They suck a lot of the time, but I mean,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
they like
It's
when you say
rewarding.
that, it's like when you say they suck a lot of the time, like they don't suck. It's just hard being a parent. You know what I mean? Being a
Hmm.
parent is hard, especially raising babies. You know, but it's never it doesn't ever like I said. I'm not gonna say sucks, but yeah, it sucks. It fucking does. Yeah, I mean, as much as you don't want to fucking say it, man. When you got little small kids and you're taking
Yeah.
care of them, a lot of the time they can suck. Um,
Oh yeah.
but
I know what you're trying to say though, because just because it sucks doesn't make it like not rewarding or
oh,
incredible. You know.
yeah, I mean, and like I'm glad for it, man. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I'm in the fucking trenches taking grenades and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I dig it, man, because it just earns you
You're on
those
the
stripes, man. It
you're on the
does.
front lines of raising a child.
No shit, dude. Like and I'm telling you, man. Like not it is as funny as that is. It's extremely important to me because I
Mhm.
know so many motherfuckers that come from broken homes that knock some fucking broad up on a one night stand or fucking got married fucking young
Mhm.
and got fucking divorced and there was kids involved and all kinds of shit and I know a fuck ton of guys, and even not them, even fucking guys who were good, like had good families and shit like that, were just deployed all the fucking time, man. Like missed their
Mhm.
fucking kids' lives and shit. Was always gone, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't like I. That's not gonna be me, man. Like I'm a stay-at-home parent, a full-time stay-at-home parent. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
To almost three kids now. Number three will be here in a couple months, so it's
Um. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way. And
thank you.
I had a kind of a question about that. Is there like obviously I don't have any kids, but I'm kind of curious on how is there like a point in time when you find out one that you're going to have a child and when it actually happens, is there any kind of mindset change when it actually happens versus when you find out?
Yeah, yeah.
So is it one of those things that you just can't really help it? It just kind of happens, or is does it kind of stay the same? Like when you find out, or do you prepare yourself mentally, or when it happens, is it different?
Well, I can only tell you what happened to me. You know what I mean, and what my experience was, and obviously I
Yeah.
can't speak for anybody else, but like, so I got sober. You know, shit. It probably been 2 years I've been sober by the time we got pregnant with her, right? About two.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been sober for about 2 years by the time we got pregnant with her, and So like I was just super, super stoked, man. And I kind of already made the decision that I was getting out of the Marine Corps. I was already fucking, I was already headed that direction. And I was sitting that, no ma'am, she's about to turn the light off on me. She likes to play with the fucking light switches now. Um, but yeah, no, it was something that I was looking forward to and wanted. And Sarah and I been together for about a year. And it was amazing, man. So like, but having said all that, from the time, excuse me, I'm gonna say bye. Good night to Abigail. Good night. Oh man, I had to take a night really quick. But no, like from preparation time, and when I say preparation time, like I read like 3 or 4 books after we found out that we were pregnant with her,
Hmm.
about fucking,
Like what
just
to expect when you're expecting, or
all that
what?
shit, man. Yeah, all that shit. One of which, well, I'll tell you what that book was, Laughing but the even all of the expectation and all the hype that you have and all the excitement that you have leading up to it. And then once Abigail was actually born, like it was just it was weird because the first thing that I remember being able to kind of articulate, was I felt as if I had never loved anything in my entire life. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
in comparison to what I feel for this little human being that I created. You know,
Okay.
um, it was just it really was, man. I was like, holy fuck, I have not cared about shit. Because it was just this overwhelming, just I don't know,
Mm.
man. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was one of the most intense experiences of my life. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it was crazy, man. It's what led me to this point, man. It's one of the things why I'm doing this because when I really legitimately think about just what you know not even the country but everything else could be in 10 years from now when my daughter is 11, or excuse me, she'll be 13 in 10 years.
Mhm.
She'll be a teenager. She'll be a freaking brand new teenager. And who in the hell knows what the fuck the world's going to be like in 10 years from now, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and arguably it could probably good excuse me, probably not be very good, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
In
no,
10
most likely.
years, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. So it's probably your kind of mindset would be to more. Is it more of you want to raise your children, kind of for the world now as it is now, or as you would like it to be, or do you want to raise them for what it might be? Like, is there any kind of preparation involved with that?
oh
Like, do you
no,
think about that
man.
at all?
No,
No.
no. It's all yeah, I mean I do think about that, but I don't think that you make a choice to raise them for that, you know what I mean? You
Mhm.
For what we do, man, we want to I mean they're still young, you know what I mean? So it's not
Well,
like
yeah,
they're we're not molding their character right now. We're just trying to still, just love them and care for them and everything like that.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not contemplating the fucking, intricacies of fucking, political theory or anything like that. So,
Right, right.
but when the time comes for that, you know what I mean? I think that we're just going to focus on, principles, being a good person, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think that if you instill that, you instill a good character in someone, you instill those good principles,
Hmm.
that it doesn't matter what time or where, what environment you're in, man, you'll be able to exist and thrive if you
Hmm.
have the traits and skills and character, it's just necessary to survive in whatever environment, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I think that's where you go. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yao Ming, Yao Ming.
Yao Ming.
I'm getting all these fucking texts from my buddies, but yeah. So
Those the same guys that you do the your podcast with?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy getting all four of us together because we're all so busy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so
Hmm.
just getting all us together at the same time, like we've only actually done a episode with
Yeah,
all four of us.
that was your guys' first
First
episode, right?
one,
You did
yeah.
those all
And ever
together.
since then, it's just a couple of sub conversations,
Hmm.
and stuff like that, which is stuff that we're just going to put up regardless, including the little
Right.
individual fucking all that shit, you know. But it's just super fucking hard, and that's why we're doing stuff like this because we're going to put
Hmm.
this conversation up there as well because this is something, like I said, that we want to try to do where we include as many people as possible. And if we include the people we care about, our real friends and family, and then maybe, once we do that, like include everybody who wants to be a part of it, being on here and shit like that.
Right.
Um, like, and then maybe going through that secondhand, people, people that through somebody else,
Mhm. Well,
but
it's a good thing because it's avoiding that stagnation of kind of just not, if you guys can't get together is all four, at least you're still putting something up.
mhm.
You're not waiting for weeks on end before you guys can actually get together, and then those are weeks without content.
You're
It's
absolutely
always
right.
it's good to keep constantly putting stuff out there.
Yeah, no, you're and on top of that too, on top of that added benefit, when you're including as many people as you can, you're getting the added benefit of them promoting their own self, through their own social media, you know what I mean, and
Mhm.
their friends seeing it, and their friends and their friends,
Yeah.
and so I mean, it's just mutually beneficial no matter how you look at it, you know what I mean, and people who are willing to go on here and talk, and especially talk about real shit, you know what I mean, like fucking so what led you and dealing with things like transitioning out of the military and dealing with things in the military and the experiences
Mhm.
and all that shit, you know what I mean? Um, and it's funny because I'm so used to just being completely open with people and getting like real deep into shit like real quick,
Oh
and,
yeah.
and like I tell people, man, like, I'm not a surface motherfucker, you know what I mean?
Yep. You just get
Um,
deep real quick. You
I
jump
love
right
and
into the
I
meat
just
of it.
do it, dude. And I'm so open about it, man. I love like those deep like fucking traumatic conversations of shit you went through and
Mm-hmm.
adversity you had to overcome. I dig it, man.
Hmm.
And I forget that most people don't. you know.
Yeah, some
Um,
people just aren't ready for that. They're not ready to just open up like that.
you're
And
right.
when they meet someone like you who just jumps right into the meat right off the bat, they just don't jump in with you.
Hey man, I get it though. I completely fucking get it. I would never force I because and that's the thing when that's another weird realization as well that I've had is that like I really truly try to as hard as I can to be a nice person and polite and
Mhm.
kind to everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's come like when I was telling my buddies before. Like I'm a big big fucking just bowl of Jello now, man. And I've had to because being a stay-at-home dad really softens your heart, especially with a daughter. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And so I really, really now try to really make that a point to be kind, just nice
Mhm.
and shit like that, And I'm not saying be all fucking mushy, blah, 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 and fucking just
Right.
not like that, you know what I mean? But just don't be a fucking dick, you know what I mean?
Is it
Don't
more
be
of
an
like a
asshole.
being understanding kind of
Yes,
is kind of what you're, yeah, being
that
more empathetic, I suppose.
well, empathy. See, I don't say empathetic because I like to say empathy is my superpower. You know what I mean? That's why I'm able to get into deep conversations with people really quick
Hmm.
because I'm so willing to fucking talk about all the shit that I've gone through. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
when you get in a conversation with someone you've just met and they're also willing to jump into that deep with you because they also have empathy and are also open about their shit, you get a bond like right away. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fuck yeah, I love this. Hell yeah, man. Like just and real shit. You know what I mean? Talking
Mhm.
whatever the fuck, regardless if it's opinion or life experience or whatever the case. You know what I mean? Um, and I always gravitate towards people like that.
Mhm.
And it's just unapologetic, real people.
Hey, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
They're the most real people out there, honestly.
Yeah, no, man, and that we were talking about that before, like uh, uh, my boy, me and my brother Brandon were talking, and he was saying that him and his barber have this fucking, just great conversations all the time when he goes in there,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about that his barbershop's in the hood. And I was like, man, and we were talking about being real and shit. And I told him, dude, I would have no issues going to a fucking barbershop in the hood, and I think I would probably have a real good fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was laughing and smiling and joking because he knew it was true. Because people get the fucking idea really quick that I am the least fake person you're probably going to meet. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and people like that. You know what I mean? And other people who try to be real as fuck, they see
I
that. You
feel
know what I mean?
I feel that even people who aren't that type
Yeah.
of person, I feel like they still gravitate towards that kind of trait as well. So
Hmm.
I feel like people that aren't upfront or real, or they are surface people, I feel like they also kind of gravitate towards that
I would
personality
hope so.
sometimes.
I would hope so.
Mhm.
And honestly, that's almost how kind of everything where everything kind of started off, like with us, man. So like people like that. That's Damien. You know what I mean? Like that's
Mhm.
very much Damien. He is a picturesque fucking a specimen of the alpha fucking male fucking type
Oh
A
yeah.
personality. And I'm not gonna say like real. It's not like he tries to just go around and talk. He's not that, but just that type of person. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, so he was my drill master when I went to go be a drill instructor down in Paris Island. He was my drill
Mhm.
master down, and that was the first time he and I met. And when I got bounced out of Paris Island, he had also left a little bit before I did. And turns out, well, I bought a house. The neighborhood I bought a house in was like two houses down from his. And
Okay.
my buddy bought the house directly next to Damien's. He was his neighbor.
All
And
right.
so me and my buddy, there was like three houses in between us, and my buddy's house was right next to Damien's. And so I was over at my buddy's, and Damien walks outside with his dogs at the time, and I was like, "Holy shit, I know that fucking guy. He was at my drill master in DI school." And anyway, when I went and introduced myself, it was like, "Oh yeah, hey Smitty, what's going on?" And anyway, um, I mean, that all led to us becoming in this or being in the same motorcycle club. He was already a patch holder at the time, and
Mhm.
we fucking stood up and prospected, and I mean, we fucking were in the same motorcycle. We still are, and specifically with me and him, like for a while, he was the president of the chapter that we started in Jacksonville, and I was the sergeant at arms, and I mean, it was a fun time, man.
Yeah.
Me and him, yeah, it was crazy. That was a crazy couple of years, but anyway, and then Sarah just decided to fucking up and come visit him one time, and
Yeah.
motherfucking yeah, it was out of nowhere. She decided to go visit him, and they hadn't seen each other in like fucking 7 years or some shit like that. It'd been a long fucking time. I don't know if it'd be
Mhm.
quite seven, but it was like five. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
but and then I would actually drop my motorcycle off at the shop. I had to get some work done, and they came and picked me up, and that was it, man. When we met, we fucking she was there for a week, and we started the relationship after she left, and it was long distance for the whole first year and a half, a little over a year and a
Mhm.
half, because she was out here at Pendleton, and I was
Yeah.
still out at Lejeune. And then when I fucking got out on December 14th, when I fucking came out here, and that's when the tour duty at the in the home front, well, being the mom dad began, because
That's
that's what it
awesome.
is, man. It is. It's a fucking tour duty. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
exactly what the fuck
Well,
it is.
that's so crazy how just you think of kind of like the butterfly effect situation, right?
Yeah.
Um, we would not be talking here if you guys hadn't moved in next to each other. That I mean, that's just that alone is insane and a really cool thing to think about. Um,
Yeah, man.
but
And that's
as
how
far
we
as like
met you. And which was what when was that?
um,
What occasion was that?
So the first time, I'm pretty sure the first time I ever saw you was at my mom's house. No?
No. First time I ever met you was that motherfucking when you graduated fucking basic. That was the first time that we met.
Was that really?
Yeah, that was the first time we met. You had graduated basic because the second time we met was when you were getting ready to fucking deploy to Kuwait.
Yeah.
And we were talking like I was looking into law enforcement, wanting to be like a U.S.
Oh, yeah.
Marshal,
Yep. The
and
U.S.
you were
Marshal stuff. Yep.
too. Yeah. And you were getting ready to deploy. So that was
Mhm.
it. Yeah, it was first met at fucking the basic graduation, and then yep.
Okay.
But what occasion was that? Why were we in Montana? Because that was the second time.
Um, I
I don't know. I can't fucking remember.
was that Christmas? I don't know. Maybe
I don't think
because
so.
I know I had only really been visiting my mom. It's only I've been really visiting my mom for holidays until most recently when I've been able to just take trips down there. So I figured it was some kind of a holiday, but maybe it was just leave. Maybe I was on leave. I
You're
don't
on leave. You're on leave.
know.
I got some new stuff from the goodie store today.
Yeah.
hmm But anyway, man, isn't that crazy to think about though? Like I've always looked back on the way Sarah and I met, and the circumstances, man.
Mhm.
And that's why I don't believe in fucking coincidence and circumstances. I truly do believe in destiny and
Mhm.
fate and all that shit. You know, and just like you alluded to earlier, man, us talking right now, having this conversation and just both being on the same path right now. You're
Mhm.
doing what you're doing, and me doing what I'm doing, and it's just crazy to think about how the slightest of change just completely changes. Like if I didn't or excuse me, if I didn't fucking get bounced out of DI school, fucking the way it happened, this never would have happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and that was,
You'd have a completely different career path and a different life right now.
yeah, man,
Um,
it's
when
crazy.
I first met Stephanie was 5 years ago in college, my freshman year in college,
No shit.
and yeah. And then when I was deployed, the whole you talking about not believing in fate, Stephanie texted me while I was deployed, and that right there, right when that first message hit, I was like, "Yep." I was like, "This is definitely not. This is not chance. This is definitely fate, and I'm not going to let this one go." And here we are. We're getting married now, and that's kind of goes along with what you're saying that there's no real chance. I believe that there is a fate involved with that.
Yeah.
Then it's like the universe giving me that smack in the ass and
Well,
saying, "Hey."
and that's the thing, man. Like, you know, yeah, I have a hard time describing because when I say I believe in destiny, I believe in fate, then
Mhm,
people obviously bring up, then you don't believe in free will. Then you don't believe that people have the choice to create their own destiny, their own fate.
mhm,
And I do believe that as well, because I believe in free will, and I believe that you have to walk your path. You know what I mean? That your path is like laid out before you. You know what I mean? And you can make decisions that keep you on it or take you off. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And I think that you can always get off and get back on. You know what I mean? But in either case, it's all the same thing anyway. You know what I mean? Because you have to go through those trials and tribulations. You have to go through that adversity. You have to go through those times where you fucking, just jump off the motherfucking road, just jump straight off the path. You do a you
Right.
fucking turn. You know what I mean? Uh, and you have to go through all that because I don't think I would be nearly as I don't think I would have nearly as much perspective or what I believe wisdom or be as empathetic as I am if I didn't go through all the fucking bullshit that I had to fucking put my stupid ass self through, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, you know. But
Just the way the chess game of life sets itself up sometimes. It's pretty
yeah,
awesome.
man. It's because it's like I said, I'm having a hard time explaining the belief in both, and I find myself contradicted, but I do. I believe that you have a destiny, but also
Mhm.
free will. You also have the the free will to fucking fulfill your destiny or to not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, and I hate it when I have like when I have a hard time trying to describe, a new opinion or the way you feel about something. You know what I mean? I hate that.
Yeah,
I
well,
hate
it's kind of like a good way to look at it is kind of if life puts these situations in front of you and they put them very much in front of you to where you can't miss it, but it can't force you to take that route, but it does give you, I believe it does give you clear signs of, hey, you should do this and you should
Yeah,
do this.
I think
Follow this route because I'm laying it out for you.
yeah, because and that also much like my spiritual beliefs are very conflicted. Because I like to believe in the universe type shit, but I believe in God. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I don't necessarily just believe in one.
Hmm.
And anyway, but yeah, same thing. You know, same kind. I have these conflicted opinions with that, but yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And it's sad because there are people out there who do think there's something wrong with that, and I feel like that is kind of contradictory to a lot of what they believe in.
hmm hmm Yeah, because but I also, like I said, I believe in God and all that shit. But there are times when, like when you were talking about signs, there are times when I think that God and the universe are just fucking screaming at you. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
they're like
right.
So when your mother first told me that you were starting an armory and you wanted to, start your own business, be an entrepreneur, and
Hmm.
making and this is when I was full, like doing the road trip I was going on and with the compound idea in my head, and it was just fucking, you know,
Hmm.
when your mom told me that, I was just okay. I'm fucking listening. I got you. I got you. Because having the armory and shit was always an aspect of the original idea.
Hmm.
And I was just, it's how often does that happen? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like that doesn't happen. You know. Um,
And in the same way, when you found out about that and you contacted me about it, it's the same thing for me. I think.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's because I don't want it to be just this one thing with me. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't want it to be just this one route of me teaching concealed carry classes and then that's it.
Yeah.
I want to have other people involved. And then when you contacted me and told me about the compound, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like
You know, and,
mind blowing.
and that's why it's been so weird, man. Like that's why I tell people the past, 3/4 of a year of my life has been nothing but instances like what we're talking about.
Hmm.
Conversations and reconnecting with guys like my brothers that we we have a Marco Polo channel with 24 fucking of our old unit Marines. 24 on this fucking one channel. 24 fucking guys.
Really?
Yeah, and we started with just it was me and two other dudes, and then when me to three other guys, so it was four
Hmm.
altogether, and then me and the four guys who do the podcast, me, Brandon, Ty, and Fred. And then we started another Marco Polo channel with just, guys that we know from our old unit. And now it's up to
Hmm.
fucking 24 dudes. And we just, I mean, and it's funny because a lot of it's just talking shit, but a lot of it is fucking like, what's going on with our lives and what we're doing. And some of it's just what we're doing for the day and then well wishing and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And it's crazy because we all repeated this too. It really makes you feel better, you know what I mean? Having just this stupid little fucking app on this fucking cool ass, just
Yeah.
and be able to just have all your brothers back in your life, you know what I mean?
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's
I
crazy.
find myself, and it's kind of funny and odd in a way. I find myself talking to a lot of the people that I served with, um, more now that I'm out than I did when I was in,
Mhm.
and it's weird because I still know the reasons I got out, and I still believe the reasons and believe in the reasons why I got out wholeheartedly, but I still find myself missing it,
Of
like
course.
regardless of those reasons. But when I was in, those reasons were so strong that I was like, oh, I'm getting out. I'm not going to miss this shit. Fuck this. And I didn't, I was just ready to just bounce and not even look back. And now I find myself looking back almost every day. And
Mm.
it's, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. And it's kind of like a weird little mini struggle, I guess.
No, man. No, I get it. No, it's weird, man. Like That's one of the things that I realized as well when I got out. When I got out, I completely jumped off the fucking side of the fucking earth. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
completely fucking disconnected from everybody and just fell the fuck off. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And completely dove into, because I had to, being a stay-at-home fucking dad and spouse. And when I did that, it completely isolated me, and I felt alien, all this kind of shit that I had to deal with personally, all this fucking, self emotional and mental adversity, all this PTSD and, fucking transitioning, all that shit. I had to fucking deal with all that now on top of being a dad. But anyway, all that fucking crap, it made me realize that the thing that I always fucking cared about the most and made me fucking feel the happiest in my life was
Hmm.
being with my brothers. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And not just fucking partying, but just being with them. You know what I mean? The relationships and the human connection you get with the people that you truly love and care about. You know what I mean? That those being surrounded by those people was the happiest times I've ever had in my entire life. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And becoming a dad, I've never been happier ever in my life with myself and with my family and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But that doesn't negate the fact that this personal side, this other side as well, which is also a part of you, it also makes up part of you, is
Right.
completely fucking unfulfilled because you don't have your brothers. You know what I mean? You don't have the people
Well,
that you
yeah.
really fucking hold close to you. That you've gone through very, very traumatic things with. You know what I mean?
Well, you can
Regardless.
have, yeah, and you can have both. They're not mutually
Yeah.
exclusive. I think they work hand in hand, and it's okay to for that to happen
Yeah.
because you still are your own person, and you still have your own history and the things that fulfilled you, but it doesn't take away from what's fulfilling you now in your home life and your
Yeah,
family.
no. Yeah, you're right. And that's the thing too, man. And that's the strange aspect of that is you're always going to change by
Mhm.
growing, excuse me, by growing older and experiencing more things. You are going to change. Your character is going to fucking mold in different directions. Your fucking everything is going to happen. You're not the same person today that you were last year. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that's something you always got to take into effect too. With your belief system and the way you live your life, you have to take in new information, and adjust accordingly.
Mhm.
So you have to have that mindset open that, like, what, I'm going to fuck. I know that unexpected things are going to come into my life that I'm going to have to adjust to. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that can come in the form of anything. You know what I mean? Be it people or fucking natural disasters or technology or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? And you're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
have to adjust your opinions, all on your changing environment. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
Or you don't. You don't have to do that. You can just fucking be set in your ways and be stuck being the same old person doing the same old fucking shit and wondering why
Right.
you're fucking unhappy and while everything else is changing around you and you're not adapting. Um,
Well, some people don't like it when you change, and I feel like, and I think we've kind of talked about this before. I've made changes too, as far as my mindset goes, with like starting into the world of entrepreneurship and finding out how lonely it really can be. Um, I I got, I got Stephanie. She's there for me, and she's incredible, and she's always been there for me.
that kind of brings me over to, you know, kind of why the reason why I'm doing the whole why we are starting this whole thing, and
Mm,
that brings me to Gary Vaynerchuk and,
mm,
kind of the whole thing that he turned me on to and how to do it. But anyway, that goes to something he also said that I unfortunately have firsthand knowledge with, but it's, when you're really trying to pursue something, change, whatever the fucking case, you know, um, unfortunately, the people that shit on you the most are mom, dad, husband, wife, sister, brother, best friend. The people in your
mm,
fucking inner circle, the people closest to you, are the ones who shit on you the most and fucking really try to hold you. And it can be intentionally, it could be unintentionally, whatever the fact, you know what I mean? But
mm,
and even if it's them, even if it's not them, I mean, usually it's the perceived opinion of other people that prevents someone from, risking something, going out of their fucking way to pursue a goal they have, and that's unfortunate, dog,
Right.
it's, but like you said, what sucks the most is not the fact that they don't love you. It's the fact that you know that your love means a little bit deeper and mean a little bit more committed than others. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's what sucks is because people have differing opinions what love and relationships are and what family means. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all that shit. So when you're really going through some hardships of some sort, and you really fucking need help, or you really whatever the case, be it personal hardship or whatever, you know. You look around who's there to fucking help out, who's there to fucking support you, man, and that's when it matters. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
and it sucks though because unfortunately, a lot of people that you care about aren't. you know,
Right. Right.
and that's just real shit.
It is. It is.
you know,
That's tough. That's tough shit. Is what that is. That's like
you know.
no.
Well, why don't you cry about it? I mean, it's the way it is, dog.
Yeah.
And I wish I could say that's never happened, or I've never done that to somebody. I wish I could say that I've never fucking been the person who was, because I had, and that was one of the huge things, man. Like I would, when I say I was a piece of shit back in the day, man, like I was a fucking dirtbag, and but mental abuse and emotional and physical abuse, and that's something that I keep in my head. I think I told you that before. I think I told you that story. Um, but either way, you know, you fuck somebody up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
I wish I could say I've never done that, but I have, and I wish I could say that's never happened to me, but it also has, numerous times. But when you're trying to fucking tell somebody like who's super young or innocent or naive, you're like, man, I wish I could fucking tell you that. You just need to suck it the fuck up, man. People are assholes. Life is gonna fucking kick you in the balls and the teeth, and for
Hmm.
no fucking reason. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Or the reason is someone is being intentionally fucking spiteful and and deceitful, and they're just trying to shit on you. You know what I mean? That also
Hmm.
happens
Oh yeah.
when
Oh
you
yeah.
just when you run across someone who's just a fucking, just a soul sucker of a fucking human being.
Right. Oh, I've been around a couple of those where it's just
Yeah,
the whole atmosphere around them is shitty, just
yeah.
terrible.
That was
And
my
it's
first one.
crazy, and it's crazy how much it actually does affect you just being around them, just an attitude of someone else. And
Well,
and I can't and I'll sit here and I'll be the first one to say that I've been that negative attitude before, and then later on I've looked back and thought, wow, the people that were around me, I can almost guarantee that the reason they were the way they were was because of my attitude.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. I completely agree. And that's why that's why I don't watch TV that is shit that is
All the
your typical fucking
reality shows.
all of it, man, like the
Hmm.
vast majority of television. That's why we don't have cable. um but at the same thing, man, like when you're just around somebody who's just grumpy as fuck or that's what you're taking in all the time.
Hmm.
And what you're surrounded with is how you're going to act. That's eventually going to become who you are. And when you surround yourself with somebody or multiple people who are just shitty, and care about dumb shit, and you just that's going to be your life, man. It's
Right.
is not an old saying, you want to know what a man is like, look at his friends or something. Isn't that a
Right.
pretty
Yeah.
old
Look
saying,
at the
something
people
like
that he
that?
hangs out with.
Yeah, you know.
Hmm.
And it's true, and that's not even like, and people say that, you can't even, the people would take that out of context, so, I would be way more at home at a homeless vet shelter, and I would much rather be with those people than I would at a fucking political fundraiser. You know what
Well,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? And so some would say, "Oh, look at his friends, look at him." Like I would proudly surround myself with the very less fortunate in life, more than I would fucking the what I would consider the elite class. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
The elitists. You know.
Um, you know, when going back to the whole the TV thing, I kind of noticed this watching the Olympics recently. Um, when everything has negativity, like I don't know what it is, but even when an announcer, not announcer, but the people when someone gets done with their ski run or something, then they go down there and someone holds the mic up and talks to them.
Hmm.
This person may have done a really great run and is, fourth, fifth place for their run, but all the questions that the person is asking them are all about the mistakes that they made on the run. Everything's negative. Like how, well, like, and I've never really understood that. They do focus on the negative, and that's that is weird. I've recently noticed that even in the Olympics, which is just a
Well,
positive
well,
sport to begin with, a positive event to even be there, and they focus on the negatives.
do you think that that can correlate into kind of this mass shooting epidemic to where when one happens, the amount of attention that it gets and the recognition that the shooter gets causes the next shooter? Do you think you can kind
Yeah.
of correlate that to that, Like,
Oh yeah,
is that you catching what I'm saying? You catching what I'm
I think
throwing?
so. I think so. The negative attention, the infamy that
Yeah,
one other
the
person
negative
gets,
attention, yeah.
that affects someone with a messed up mind that wants that infamy, and they,
That correlates into actual reality,
yeah,
into actions.
right, absolutely, absolutely.
See, and I believe in that too, man. I really do. I believe that when you have negative influences in your life, you know, um, they're intentional, man. You know what I mean? Like, uh, 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 for whatever reason, man, people I think can be influenced negatively for obviously whatever their circumstances are. You know what I mean? And you just gotta, unfortunately, like what people fail to realize and what it's easy to really, really take for granted is how fucking dislike most people are from one another. You know what I mean? So, take for instance an inner city, you know what I mean? Everybody fucking someone growing up in the fucking ghetto or something like that, you know what I mean? And people who, come from fucking, not I won't even say affluence, but fucking not the inner city. Would say, why are
Mhm.
they buying so bad? Why can't you fucking, why can't you get out of the gangs? Why can't you solve the gang problems? What's going on? Yada yada yada. Um, and it's like, dude, do you have any realization of the fact that kids, people, children grow up without ever knowing the concepts of like integrity or honor, or being
Mhm.
raised in a house with a fucking father who was there to fucking give them a good example of discipline and hard work, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And you want people to be fucking responsible members of society that haven't fucking been exposed to any kind of and
Right.
and that's just a very fucking small instance, but the point being is that like fucking we are so disliked, man, just in state to state, city to city, I mean town to town, man, people are completely fucking different from one another,
Mhm.
and yeah, it just kills me when people take that for or just don't realize that,
Mhm.
and look at that as something bad, you know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. No. Um. Kind of like when basically people try to force responsibility down the throats of people who've never experienced the idea of
No,
responsibility.
judgment, man, judgment. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Judgment. Not forcing responsibility, just the fucking, you know, sense of elevation
Mm.
or that whatever word, I just hate it, man. That pretentious, arrogant,
Okay.
condescending fucking like I hate it, man. you know. And I don't know
Mhm.
how we fucking kind of drifted down this fucking way.
That's all right.
It's probably my fault,
Wouldn't you say
but
though? Would it be? Could you say that that's natural though?
what is natural?
The judgment, essentially, the high horse that you're talking about that some people are on versus, isn't that natural? Isn't that, doesn't that kind of cut to the almost a survival of the fittest type mentality? Or because I mean, not necessarily that, because success is an opinion, right? Success is what you make of it. What success is to you is different from what
Yeah.
success is to me. But you can still kind of say there is, you know, people that are more successful than others. And is, wouldn't that be, do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to have a hard time to say
No,
it right
yeah,
now, but
yeah, no, no, man, I
it's
got you.
natural for people to put themselves above others that they believe they are better than them. I believe. I feel like it's natural. It's not right. I don't feel like it's something that should happen. But isn't it natural?
I don't know if I'm saying it's going to be. I mean, you have to say it's natural, right? I mean, you have to because it's a human. It's not even say it's emotion, but it's a trait. It's
Mm-hmm.
a character trait. Yeah, you know, being a resentful, condescending, pretentious person. I guess you could
Right.
say that, but that's intentional though, right? Like being those things is intentional. You know,
Yeah.
thinking, you know, judging somebody else because they don't have what you have is an intentional fucking feeling to have. You're judging somebody, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know how to describe that. I don't know. That would be interesting to really ponder on
Maybe
more and try
maybe
to
a
break
better way
down.
to think of it is, so say you got someone who's rich and someone who's poor, someone who's below the poverty line and someone who's well above the wealthy line. Um, that person that's made all that money, for example, they have that dominant position as far as finance goes. And I feel like that dominant position, whether they want to or not, they kind of hold themselves higher than that person, and they just do. It just happens. And
Yeah,
what, how they treat that other person though should change. They shouldn't treat that person any
yeah.
differently.
And that's the
But I feel
thing.
like there's that natural, they hold themselves above that person regardless.
And it's not even that, man. Just that sense that you're better than these other people, you know. And that's what I think, man. Like, I mean, I get it. Once you elevate yourself to a certain position in society and in culture, that you're going to get treated differently. And I completely get, understand, and accept that. You know, I mean, well, it doesn't matter if I accept it or not. But you know, just the real pretentiousness of people where they really think they're better. Like I'm a better person than you
Mm.
because of what I have. You know what I mean? Because really, to me, in my experience, truly good people, like the people that I would consider are the better people, wouldn't consider themselves better than anyone. You know what I mean? They would consider themselves fucking not shit. You know what I mean? Because they
Right.
like ego is, I don't know. But anyway, you know, just uh, how did we get down there? How did we go
I
down
don't
that
know.
fucking
I
road?
don't know.
Like I said, it was probably my fault. It was probably my fault. I probably went down there.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I like this kind of, I like this conversation. I do.
Mm. Well, I mean, it's weird, man. That's why, you know, doing the podcast. So when I was watching a clip from Gary Vee the other day, and same thing, he was talking to somebody, and he made sure to ask them, are they documenting? Are they fucking? They're the process, documenting the process. You know, is what he called it.
Mhm.
And what he specifically referred to was doing podcasts, blogging, all that shit of you on your entrepreneurial path. You know what I mean? And not only did he fucking, you know, basically say all the benefits that you could get entrepreneurial, is that any word? Yeah, but you get benefit, you know, in your entrepreneurial endeavors, but you get fucking, you know, this sense of family too. Like he said, do you imagine if you had fucking just all this documentate, all this video of your grandparents or your mom and dad when they were fucking young, when they were doing shit, man? Like, can you imagine that? You know, and if you do, if you fucking document this whole process, you know, your kids and your grandkids, they're gonna be able to see all that shit. You know what I mean? Especially if you accomplish the things you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? If you
Right.
really ascend to that level that you're trying to ascend to. So again, I was just, man, you know, it was just another instance of the, what I consider God in the universe to be like, hey, listen to him. Look at it. He needs to say something to you today. You know what I mean? Go listen to him.
Right.
Go listen to Gary. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is with a lot of shit, man. Like
Mhm.
a lot of the people in the podcasts that I listen to and I pay attention to and I follow, I listen to all their podcasts in like this rotation, like this daily rotate. I don't know. It just anyway. Every time I watch a program, a video of whomever, I always get that feeling like, fuck, man, I'm supposed to be watching this right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching all these
Right.
great things and getting all this great inspiration and motivation, insight and perspective that
Mhm.
I already have, but now I'm able to articulate it and fucking really describe and apply and articulate how I feel and why all that kind of shit because I'm listening to it from the fucking
Yeah.
horse's mouth, so to speak, of others.
Well, it's and that application is probably the most important part. Being able to, because you listen to it, you surround yourself with like essentially. I mean, sometimes I imagine you can look at listening to all these podcasts and all these different people talk. That's kind of surrounding yourself with the right crowd in a way.
No, yeah,
You're
absolutely
having
is.
this one-way conversation with them, which is fine. Um, and and I feel like making that or bridging that gap between listening to them and actually applying what you're hearing, that's the hard part. That's the really hard part.
Yeah,
And once you do that, though, then it opens up everything. It opens up everything.
and that's the thing, man. Like that's why it's been so great for me because I'm very experienced with learning from the people you surround yourself with. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The Marine Corps being, the example, and when you apply that to my position right now, where you can really, like you just talked about, watch podcasts and, YouTube channel fucking shows being surrounding yourself with the people that you want, man, so when you watch fucking Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro and fucking, Glenn Beck and, everyone from Prager University and fucking, Jordan Peterson and all these fucking people that are really in this world right now of the battle for ideas right now, man, because people don't realize if you're not plugged in to like I mean not even to say political, man, because I fucking hate politics and I think the political scene right now is so disgraceful and disgusting, but like the cultural and societal idea fucking battlefield that's happening right now and
Mm.
the change and the perspectives and the
That's a really
way
good way to put that. Like an ideal battlefield or an ideal,
it
but
is a battlefield of
ideal
ideas,
battlefield.
man. It is. It's a
It is.
battleground of ideas, and I've heard that specific phrase passed around a couple times, but it really happening. You have a couple generations right now of people, and smorgasbord. Let me use that word, a smorgasbord of circumstances that are completely fucking, you know, um, accelerating everything. Technology being one of the main ones.
Mm.
And it's anyway, yeah, it's crazy shit. But having said all that, when you surround yourself with all these fucking people watching these podcasts, you really, really, really absorb not only all the knowledge and the meaning and the ideas that they're trying to convey and communicate, but they
Mhm.
talk about it. So many fucking people and these guys that I pay attention to and listen to, they all talk about how crazy it is. They're like, man, yeah, there's this fucking crazy thing that's going on right now. People are listening to me for this fucking reason, they all know each other. All the people
Mhm.
that are like Jocko Willink, man. Jocko Willink is one of my fucking favorite people, man. And Brandon Webb at Soft Rep, all the military cats, and
Mhm.
those fucking dudes are the shit, and they all know each other. You know what I mean? They all fucking Tim Kennedy being another one, you know,
I've
and
seen some stuff with him recently with Tim
yeah,
Kennedy.
man, all these military fucking personalities, man, and that's another big thing. The Black Rifle Company guys, them too specifically, and they're another reason why I'm doing the entrepreneurial thing, man, because there's a lot of really great examples of
Mhm.
veteran entrepreneurs that are fucking just stacking bodies, in the business world. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And it really is the things you learn in the military is completely translatable to the fucking, to the business world and the world of entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Um, and that's why. one of the main reasons doing this, adding this as part of the podcast and part of the experience and everything like that is so, important because I mean, not only are we documenting the process, but we're including as many people as possible, and
Right.
I mean, it's out there, man, and it's as long as you're willing to fucking put in the work and do the right thing for the right reasons, and not
Mm.
go after fucking likes and shares and fucking if you're not doing it to get fucking famous and shit like that, if you're really doing it for a righteous reason
Right.
and keeping the righteous motherfuckers around you to keep you on point, you know what I mean? Like you have only success to expect, you know what I mean? Because
Right.
it's a life path, you know what I mean? It's just the way you're going to live your life. It's a
Well,
pursuit,
you're you're creating the standard for yourself, and
yeah.
you're able to meet that standard instead of trying to meet the social standard that's already been set for everyone else. You know.
And that's one of the things I really want to do as well, man. And that's kind of the whole thing is the documenting part and the podcasting part is, if you're really able to do it, if you're really able to fucking create a business, like become a legitimate entrepreneur and create a successful company, successful business, and start it on a fucking podcast with a few fucking people, you know what I mean? From especially the guys that like the squad economics, like what Black Rifle
Yeah.
Company did. I don't know if it was them who coined that term, but squad economics when you get a group of guys from the military and you build, a company.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, like if you can look back on that, imagine if you can prove to people in this time of social media, I can show you that I we did this for the God bless you. We did
Thank you.
something. We had a goal. You're welcome. And we kept our fucking goal in mind and we kept our principles in mind and we never compromised on our fucking values and did it and look, we did it. We accomplished it and we documented the whole fucking thing. Imagine just being able to fucking to show that, you know. Imagine being able to fucking actually and try to inspire other people to do that. I
Mhm.
mean that's one of the things that so many fucking really good people whom I respect that are already in that kind of position are guys like Gary Vee and I mean even Denzel said it, and it's an older thing, but you reach back when you reach life or success in life, a position, you always reach back and pull as many people as you can with you, I mean that whole thing. And he did a gangster ass speech. It was a what the fuck are those speeches called at the end at a commencement speech?
Okay.
It was a video of Denzel fucking doing a commencement speech and saying that the fucking succeed in life and pulling someone up from behind, and it was, he, how gangster as fuck he can be,
Right.
so it was pretty cool. But anyway,
Yeah. No, I like Denzel. I've watched a couple of videos of him kind of sharing his opinion on certain things, and it's pretty awesome. He's pretty straightforward with it, and I agree with a lot of what he says.
I'm gonna give my buddy shit on the other show. I'm gonna fucking say, so in the all black fucking superhero movie, how in the fuck in the all black superhero movie in this huge thing, how in the fuck is Denzel not in there? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like how the fuck does that happen? Seriously, and I'm gonna bust
Right.
your fucking balls about that. Like, come on. Shit. But anyway, yeah, man, it's really inspiring too to think about for me anyway when you just get nothing but encouragement and support from people and people who have interest and like, oh man, that's fucking cool, and and I mean, as cool as that is, man, it's not even it's nowhere even why, man. Like I said, it's what's important and why we're doing it is what we're doing right now, man. Because regardless of this having a reason for, entrepreneurial goals and everything like that, like you and I are building a stronger relationship. We're getting to know
Mhm.
each other more. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
not only is it like a fucking, cool thing that we're doing because it's a step in the direction of a goal that we have, but we're
Mhm.
legitimately building on our relationship. Like I'm going to be in your fucking wedding, man. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like you asked me to be a groomsman in your fucking wedding, and that's a huge deal to me.
Big deal to
That's
me.
never. It's a huge deal. Yeah, it's a huge deal. So I mean, and that's the thing. Imagine somebody that is on this fucking journey with us. Being a viewer, being someone part of your following.
Mhm.
That's started watching you from an early time, and then watch you progress and grow into this fucking successful bit or whatever the fucking case, man. and you're inspiring others to do it. Like,
Well, yeah, because so many people that are famous or that have been successful, they don't have that documentation of when they started, and that motivates the hell out of me when I see someone who, you know, for the lack of a better phrase, started at the bottom and now they're here. you know, that's awesome to see that it's possible. I guess it's refreshing to see that possibility,
hmm
and so I totally agree with this documentation starting off here and just watching, letting everybody see that and see that growth
yeah,
and motivate them to do the same thing.
yeah.
Because ultimately, I feel like that's the biggest goal, is to just
Well,
spread that positivity and just to get other people to do the same. Because that's just going to make everything. That's going to make the world a better place. It just will be. It just will.
no, you're that's exactly what the fuck I was gonna say, man. Like that's how you solve issues, man. Like
Mhm.
people, like if I could sit down with these kids that are doing these gun protests, man, I would tell them, you should never in your fucking life, when you want to accomplish or prevent or stop or do something or make something happen, never ever look to government. You know what I mean? Never fucking ever. You know what I mean? And if you don't know why that's such a fucking big deal, go read history books about fucking why governments historically are the fucking biggest perpetrators and fucking inefficient shits in the world. You know what I mean? Like, don't fucking look to government to fix shit. You look to your
Absolutely.
communities, look to your family, and if you can fucking really inspire people to individually, be better people, to be a better dad, to be a better friend, to be a better fucking whatever the fuck, and you're doing that to your fucking neighbors, to your friends, and you really just and like I said, not being some fucking, you know, whatever, go to church, whatever the fuck you think a goody two shoes or whatever would look like,
Hmm.
but just being a good person. You know what I
Right.
mean? Being kind and honest and truthful. You know what I mean? And helping, just being a fucking decent fucking human being. You know, um, that's what matters, man. That's what's going to fix fucking school shootings. You know, dads
Mhm.
sticking the fuck around in the home. You know, fucking people not fucking getting, a damn just abortion after abortion after,
Mhm.
and all that shit, man. And that's what fucking good quality character and happy lives is what prevents school shootings from happening. But bad shit's always gonna fucking happen. But that's not the point,
Yeah.
But that's how you change shit,
It is. It is. And a lot of things that's causing problems is the easy way out. You mentioned like the abortions. It's an easy way out. It is. You let that easy current take you away and you don't grow from that. And you don't become a better person. You just start
Yeah,
looking for more easy way outs of everything else.
yeah.
And yeah, that's
That's such
never
a
a good thing.
it's such a important thing to me is the abortion issue. And one of the things why it's so important to me too is like believe it or not, I have a lot of black people that are very fucking dear and close to me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, the number one killer of black people in the United States of America is abortion. You know what I mean? Above all things. In 2016, in New York City, more black babies were aborted than there were born. Just think about that
Damn.
for a second. You know,
Mhm.
anyway, and
That's
and
nuts.
it's
That's
it's
terrible.
it sucks to, yeah, and when I've had this conversation with my brothers before, man, and I'm just like, fuck, dude, like that is horrible. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
fucking horrible. And then when you get into politics, and like the fucking race baiting fucking shit that people in politics play with the black community, man, it's fucking disgraceful. It really is. It fucking kills me. But, I mean, what do I fucking know?
Right.
I'm
Right.
just a fucking white guy.
Well, I mean, it's you can really look at it as just what's right. What's what if you it's hard to like say that because I don't believe that the government ever really debates what's right.
No, no, like, yeah,
They
you're
they
absolutely right.
believe I believe they debate what's convenient or what allows the next thing to happen. They kind of debate for that. They don't debate for what's right in the moment. Like what
Our government now is completely, I believe, in my opinion, just self-serving. It is not in any way, I believe, um, like it stopped being moral and stopped making decisions based on morality and virtue and what was best for the American people and what was
Mhm.
best for the fucking United States of America. They stopped making those decisions a long time ago and became self-serving. I mean, it's been like that for a while, but I just think now it's, fucking, what do they say? Fucking critical mass, you know?
Mm.
Um, and it's only I think going to get worse, because
Right.
what was his homeboy fucking damn Donald Trump, drain the swamp, all that shit. Well, I don't see that happening at all. I see the swamp getting a lot bigger, but
Mm.
hey, you know,
I don't know. I
that's just
feel
my humble opinion.
well, yeah, and this is the kind of this not this specifically, but this is the kind of shit we tried to get away from back in the revolution. Like, and it's
Go read go read the Declaration of Independence. Go read it. And like I have it hanging up right on my phone. I'm looking at it right now. And if you go through it now, that's a tradition I'm gonna start with my kids. Every 4th of July, we're always gonna read the whole thing, line for line, and fucking dissect what it actually means. And when you do,
Mhm.
Jefferson lists out all the grievances that they have at the time against King George and all the things that he's doing and all the fucking oppression and tyranny that he's inflicting, man. And you could draw direct lines and give very prominent, fucking relevant examples of today. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, it directly fucking correlates into current times. It really does.
And that's really interesting to kind of imagine where we're gonna go with it. Where
There's
like how what's gonna happen because eventually what's something's got to give. That saying that there's something that's got to give eventually. It's going to get worse, and worse and worse until finally someone gives. And I mean, I don't want to be
well,
dramatic
no,
and
yeah.
say that it would ever be something like that, but is something even close to that needed?
Are we going to see in our lifetimes? A very fucking likely chance we will. Which because just the amount of things changing at the rate it's changing. Who knows? But you're absolutely right. Like, look how vicious and just malicious things in politics are right now and in
Hmm.
culture. What evidence anywhere can you bring up that it's going to stop, that it's going to change, that things are going to get better?
Yeah, nothing.
There's
I
none.
can't. Yeah.
There's only evidence everywhere of things getting worse faster. So, okay, we get to critical mass where people are just not going to agree on something. What do you do? What do you do when neither people get their way? You can't, you're not going to agree. What do you do then? When you can't agree to disagree, you can't live with one another. What do? You resort to violence,
Hmm.
and that will happen. You know what I mean? It will happen. It's just the circumstances are just going to be like how, when, what, all that kind of shit. I mean,
Yeah. Like what form? I feel like not revolution isn't the right word, but as far as the change coming, what form is it going to take? It's gonna.
dude, who knows, man? Everything.
Yeah. With the way things advance now and the way people act and how we handle problems, it will be really interesting to see what form this because the change will happen. It's going to happen at some point, but it's going to be interesting to see what form that takes.
Well, one of the things I really going to believe is going to be a huge factor. One is technology.
Hmm.
That is going to be, I believe, one of the leading contributors to the drastic change that's going to fucking happen, I believe, globally, with the rising technology. That's just my opinion. Um,
Hmm.
and that's going to fucking be in the form of medical technology, transportation technology, fucking, what the hell happens with fucking politics and more, because you can look everywhere, man. You can look in fucking Southeast Asia, what's going on in the South China Sea with China and us, and you look in the Middle East with Iran and Saudi Arabia and everything in Syria and Turkey and everything in fucking Africa right now, and fuck, just I mean, so many fucking different, and what's going on with Russia and the Baltic states and the fucking damn Ukraine and what's going on in the motherfucking Philippines and everything there and Japan. You legitimately have credible, severe conflicts almost everywhere. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Politics and not only fucking in our country, but everywhere else are not stable, you know, and culture and society kind of look to the West. They kind of look to America. And you know, we're not doing so hot. You know what I mean? If you couldn't tell, we're right in the middle of this huge gun thing right now because we keep on having this fucking epidemic of shootings. You know, and
Right.
as much as I will never bend on my fucking support of my right to defense, which is all the Second Amendment is. You know, guns is just the tool, the instrument. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Right.
It's the right to self defense. That's what that is. You know, it's not the right to guns per se, but guns existed at the time, and that's how you defended yourself. But anyway, yeah, where was I? Fuck, I went right off with the guns thing.
Well,
Damn it.
the guns thing is it's the every time a shooting happens or every time a negative situation involving firearms happens, um, it gets worse and worse. And now, and I've noticed this now is it's been more vocal and more public of the targeting of the NRA specifically, not just guns, not just gun reform, but specifically the NRA. Now there's an actual target that they're publicly.
That's not new though, man. I mean,
Well,
the left's been
I
doing it.
haven't seen it as much as I'm seeing it now.
Well, yeah, of course not, because what's happening and everything. But no, you're right. It's a huge uptick. But the NRA has always been the
Yeah.
number one, fucking enemy number one. So, Democrats and anti-gun people,
Hmm.
But
Dallas. I saw it somewhere. I don't remember where I saw it, but Dallas, the mayor of I think it's the mayor is urging the NRA to hold their convention because I think they have a big convention in Dallas every year.
hmm
Um, and now they're saying we don't want it here. you know, they're wanting they're urging the NRA to take it elsewhere.
Where'd you see that at?
Um, I think it was Reddit. That's where I get most of my stuff is from Reddit. I see it on there mostly.
I've never gone to Reddit before. Are they pretty good?
Yeah. So it was actually Adrian that got me
Adrian!
Adrian got me started on Reddit. I find that a lot of stuff reaches Reddit before it reaches anywhere else. And it's crazy. And Reddit's huge, and I feel like it's an underutilized tool. I mean, it's got a lot of stupid shit on there too, like any other social media type
Yeah.
deal. But
Sure.
there's a lot of they do have a lot of news on there and a lot of current events. So I think that's where I got that from. And again, I'm not absolutely positive that's true, but
And I'll tell you what, man, and I'm glad you kind of actually said that specifically with current events, man. Like I really stopped saying like, fuck, I hate that. If you really do not stay up to date with what's happening globally today, I would really say you're doing yourself a pretty big disservice, you know, uh, because not only is what happening in so many different aspects globally, like we all just been talking about culturally, politically, everything, like there's so many things going on, that are really great and wonderful and awesome, and you should fucking pay attention to shit, like what's been happening with SpaceX is, one that just fucking jumps off the top of my mind, you know what I mean? If you're not
oh
following
yeah.
that, you should be, um, but at the top of that too, I think at this point in time, man, is such it is going to be such a critical point in not only American but human history, man. I think that when we're in our fucking if we get to be old, like if medical technology hasn't extended fucking, you know, life by the time we're in our 70s or 80s, if we're not living, or if we don't have the what's it called? The singularity. You know what that is? The singularity is the
Mm.
uploading of the human conscience
Okay.
into
Okay.
a computer. That's called the
Right.
singularity. That's supposed to be here in like 2029, I think is like the earliest estimates of that, you know? So we could say when we're old and, in our 80s and 90s, looking back on this time right now, but, we could look just as we do now when we're in our 80s and 90s because medical technology may have advanced that much by then. You know what I mean? Who the fuck knows?
I'm gonna look it up real quick, and I want you to watch this video. It's a YouTube. It's not really a video per se. It's a guy just talking.
Hmm.
Um, but
It's gonna artificial intelligence is gonna be the one.
oh yeah, oh
That's gonna
yeah.
be it. That's gonna be it's gonna be Skynet and the Matrix. It's gonna be Skynet and the Matrix.
I know. I mean, and we make all these movies that are literally warning us about this fucking shit, but yet we still sit here and go, "Well, we're gonna do it anyways."
Yeah, we have had so long to not only debate, study, contemplate, question, talk about all these fucking different issues with the advancement in technology, and now it's here, and no one's really taking it seriously.
Right.
So good on us if we are, living out a self-fulfilling prophecy of extinction via fucking our own creation, via
Hmm.
fucking artificial intelligence. Artificial super intelligence, excuse me. I think you
Right.
have to be specific because I think technically AI is in a lot of shit, you know.
Hmm. Okay, here we go. Let's see
Technically.
here. But basically, what he talks about is
Roy.
how Roy. Basically, what he talks about is how incredible people are, and like just human beings in general, from just our the way our bodies are, and how it starts off with basically saying that our first form of hunting, when we were the first humans, our first form of hunting was persistence hunting, where we would
Yeah.
literally just chase something down until it got tired and died, and that and we could lose like a half of our blood and still be living. And it starts from there, and it goes all the way up to our space exploration, and how no matter what happens, if there is an idea of it, humans are going to chase it and they're going to make it happen no matter what the consequences might be. But just because it hasn't been done, humans are going to do it. And that's like kind of what it leads into. And that's the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about that SpaceX. What because if we're going to go to Mars, it's going to be Tesla. It's going to be Elon Musk that puts us there.
And who said it? Somebody just said recently, if it was somebody extremely credible, um, and said something alluding to that. If you want to reach Mars in like the next some odd years, it's going to be Elon Musk, not the government or something like that. I forget who said that, but uh, but anyway,
Say that beginning part again. What was it?
like if you want to get to fucking Mars in the next some odd years, it's going to be
Oh,
fucking Elon Musk and not the government. That was the
oh
whole
yeah, no, he's gonna be the one. Like
yeah.
he'll be the one that puts us
Which,
there.
dude, and you know what, man? Like, I don't agree with the dude's politics or anything like that, but he is such an inspiration for me just for the sheer fact that if I was a billionaire, like, all the shit that that guy just does and all the things that he just tries and buys into and fails at and doesn't give a fuck because he just
Didn't he
tries
start?
shit. He just
Didn't he
does
start
it.
a company called the Boring Company, and he like just made a flamethrower
Yeah,
for
they made a
for
fucking flamethrower. Yeah, and they didn't want to have flamethrower like sell flamethrower, so he like legally changed the name of it to not be called a flamethrower, to call it something else or some shit like that, just so he could still sell it. I mean, he really, I don't know. He's exactly what I would fucking hope all billionaires should be, is people who really have the power and the ability to just try shit and not give a fuck and not have to worry about well, I'm sure they have to worry about government at some level, obviously, because they can't go be fucking launching rockets off in fucking downtown Manhattan. But
Mhm.
I mean, I understand him, but you get the point. It's just
Oh yeah.
he's exactly what a billionaire should be. You know what I mean? He really is. But you know, I would. I was tweeting all this shit with the what do they call it, the when they just launched the Heavy or the Falcon Heavy, and the Tesla with the spaceman fucking suit in it. Did you not see that?
Yeah, yeah. The yeah,
What they call it? What did they call it? Was it spaceman? Is that what they called it?
yeah, I think they just called it Spaceman.
They called it
And he's
spaceman.
I
Okay.
think I can't remember who was telling me it, but I think he has like in the car, he has a on the dashboard, there's a model of the same car with a spaceman in it.
I know they had. I think it was David Bowie playing on the fucking radio. Um,
Yeah.
I think it was them anyway, or him. But yeah, that was so fucking cool, man. When I saw that, I was just, I'm so happy. And Elon Musk says it too, man. He says it, which is one of the reasons why I love respect him as well, because he said if you want to be a business, no better place to do it than America. You know what I mean? So people who always try to fucking still hate on America and fucking how horrible everything is over here and shit like that. How in the hell can Elon Musk, one of the fucking biggest entrepreneurs in the world, business owners, fucking say some shit like if you ever want to do anything, do it in America. You know? How can that not be true? My body is sore. That's mad at
You
me.
did you work out today? Is that
Motherfucker,
why it's sore
I
or?
work out all the time, man. No, it's funny, and I'm just being stupid, but it is good because I am fucking busting my ass a lot lately over the
Mhm.
past about 5, 6 months, and I love it because this is how I was usually was when I was still active duty, not a fat fucking piece of shit, fucking mom dad. Depend. No, I wasn't not I can't, I shouldn't even say mom dad in a negative way. I was a fat piece of shit fucking dependopotamus. Is exactly what the fuck I was. I did, man. I got almost fucking 240, man. I got fat. I
Hey,
loved
well, I
it.
mean, progress, not perfection, right? As long as you're making that progress going down, that's all that matters.
I'm excited for the fucking wedding, dude. Super
Oh, it's gonna be
excited.
a good time. It's gonna be a good time for real.
I'm gonna get
Um,
super high.
oh yeah.
I'll drink a little bit. I won't drink a lot. I'll drink a little. I'll drink a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier that you when you got sober, is that like an actual when you mentioned saying getting
Uh,
sober, like have you not drank ever since then, or is it kind of
no,
like
no.
you've just
I got sober in February of 2013, and I
Mhm,
stayed completely 100%, not a drop of alcohol sober for almost a year and 3/4, a little over a year and a half, year and a
mhm,
half and some change. And then I got drunk one night when my buddy's first child was born, and fuck shit up. And since then, I can probably count on both hands how many times I've drank
mhm,
since I decided to get sober. Like I've been drunk probably a handful, not even a handful. Yeah, maybe like about 4 or 5 times um,
mhm.
since 2013. You know, and those were just kind of relapses.
Okay.
Kind of like a little bit of uh, fell off the wagon, but I never fucking prolonged, man. When I fell off the wagon, it was um, only a couple times, and like I said, uh, that's when I was drunk. And like right now, I'm at that point in my life where I don't fucking let anything hold any kind of influence on my life like that. Alcohol
Mhm,
to be included in that.
mhm.
So I will drink now. You know what I mean? Because I know I
Yeah.
won't get fucking drunk. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I'll know I'll fucking have maybe a fucking drink or two, and I'll get a little bit warm and be fine. But like, you know what? I'm gonna go smoke some fucking weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not need to get drunk.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, the last time I was fucking drunk, oh yeah, the last time I was drunk, I was it was in South Dakota. It was the morning before I got arrested because it was the first night that I was by myself
Mhm.
of my solo trip, and I stayed at the hotel, and I was at the restaurant right across the street, and I had a cup. I had 3 beers, dude, 3 beers, and I woke up that next morning with like one of the worst hangovers I've ever had in my entire life. You know what I mean? I felt like a fucking asshole, and
Yeah.
I was just, why did I can't, my body just don't like that shit no more,
Mhm.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
um, real quick, just kind of wanted to ask you about that. How do you feel about? Because I've heard this a lot, and I've had my own family members tell me this. That the whole alcoholism is runs in the family.
Yeah, it's hereditary.
Um, and but hereditary doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen though.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it doesn't have to.
So I don't necessarily know how that. I have a hard time kind of grasping that idea that it's hereditary, yet you might not even feel the need to. Like, say,
Well,
like,
how do you have a hard time grasping that when certain genes, certain traits, certain certain physical features can skip generations and can completely skip
Mhm.
fucking like uncles and nephews can look alike. Grandsons and grandfathers, cousins can look alike. You know what I mean? And those genes and traits would technically skip generations, right? You know what
Okay.
I mean?
I
So
guess
I
if I,
guess the
I
same
guess
thing.
okay. So I guess I was kind of looking at that differently. I suppose as more of because I don't know. In my
It's not a
opinion,
guarantee.
I guess, but yeah, but in my opinion, I see it as almost 100% a choice.
No, I don't think. I
No.
don't think it's 100%. No, by no means. I mean, I would think there's more. I would say most of it is choice. Yes.
Hmm.
I would say that the vast majority of people, it is choice. But
Hmm.
real alcoholics, motherfuckers who get addicted to it, yeah, it's very chemical. For me, it wasn't. I was never dependent on alcohol, but I was a constant binge drinker. I binge drink every fucking night. You know what I mean? And that's
Hmm.
when you do that all the fucking time for numerous years. You know what I mean? Only having breaks on, when you deploy to a war zone or on a deployment, and even then you don't really take all that much of a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I mean, when people say alcoholics, that really entails, you know, several different types of drinkers. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I'm not going to say I do believe no matter what, the vast majority of it is choice. But I wouldn't say all of it. Definitely not say all of it. You know, Ugh. Especially because like I mean like even somebody who's not chemically addicted per se, but somebody who's been binge drinking for like say a few fucking days, been constant or not even that, but say a handful of days, someone's just been drinking constantly. When you fucking come down for that, your body's going to have a fucking withdrawal reaction. You know what I mean? You're going to
Right.
go through fucking withdrawals. What was the point I was trying to make?
I mean, I'm not sure. I think you're trying to. I think you're reiterating the fact that it's that for the most part it's choice, but there are
Oh
there are
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
cases where it's not choice.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, yeah. It's also just stupid motherfuckers who have really addictive personalities who can't say
Hmm.
no. You know,
Yeah.
not any kind of chemical imbalance is just a character trait and a fucking
That just personality that you just easily get addicted to shit.
yeah, man. I mean, I wish I could be way more scientific and insightful with people, but sometimes it's just a fucking. Sometimes all it comes down to is you being a fucking asshole making bad choices. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
got no motherfucking other reason, no one to blame other than your damn self, which is most of the people. But
Right.
you know, you know, stupid fucking people. I'm done. I say stupid people. I'm one of the stupidest.
I wouldn't say like now you are, you know.
No, man. I mean, and I truly, I mean, because it's always been hard for me to learn, man. Like I have to try super hard to read
Mhm.
all the time and to stay informed and to have somewhat of a valid and credible intellect and opinion or credible opinion on anything. You know what I mean? It's super hard for me because I don't grasp things as easily as a lot of people, or as I wish I would. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And specifically like with math. Like I hate motherfuckers that are good with math
I'm
because
terrible at
I'm
math.
such a fucking blockhead, man. It's just you know, and like and that's I could I feel like I could never be a really, really good long distance shooter. I mean, I could because I could shoot well, but like when you have to
Mhm.
bring math into it, like a pilot, I could never be a fucking pilot because I couldn't be able to fucking do math. You know what I mean?
Oh
And it's
yeah.
so hard for me, man. It really is.
You know, that was the struggle for the longest time for me was I love science. So I'm like I absolutely love science. It's a huge, but I could never get into the science field because I struggle so much with all the math that's involved that my love for it can't compensate
Diminish.
for that. It just
Yeah.
can't. So I have to sit on the sidelines and just enjoy it from the side because the math it goes over my head completely.
So a lot of um, some of the people I follow on Twitter is like the different NASA facilities. Like the Hubble has their own Twitter page, and Kennedy Space Center, and NASA this, and anyway, I always loved it because I love space exploration. I love space history. Like you
Oh
said,
yeah.
all the science aspect. I love all that, man. Like I got a bunch of knickknacks, not even knickknacks, but I got some good goodies upstairs and in here. Um, Space history memorabilia, the space race and everything, signatures
Mm.
from astronauts and shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
My dad, he was a total space nerd. He used to take me and my sister on road trips to almost every single major space center in the country and space museum, man. Like, we went all over the fucking. I have met many Apollo astronauts and have multiple signatures and pictures and stuff like that at so
That is
many different places,
awesome.
man. Yeah, I mean, it's it was so fun as a kid, man. Like that aspect of our life of that trip. And my dad was just a total nerd. Because on top of that, we would go to like he would take us on road trips to battlefields and war memorials and shit like that as well. It wasn't just space
Mm.
shit.
It's incredible though. That's that's the real treasure I think out there is all that history and all that and the space thing. Oh my god, space scares the fuck out of me.
I love it,
It
man.
really like just thinking like if you I have had times where I just sit and I think about the concept of space and it literally scares the shit
Well,
out of me.
dude, that was one of the things that I loved in that conversation that Ben Shapiro and fucking Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin had,
Mm,
because they kind of got onto that. Like, okay, you believe in a God, okay, but you also believe in science, and you believe there's a universe, there's an ever unending universe, but your
mhm.
faith only says that that the world was created by God. So how do you make those fucking meet up? You know what I mean? You obviously have to
Yeah.
fucking adjust your life perspective somehow. And they were
Mhm.
talking about how there's just that weird space that they can't define where they think that they coincide, like space or religion, existence, science, the universe, whatever. It all kind of fucking, and the both of them were saying they were kind of pointing to a like they use Star Wars as a fucking example. They kind of like a force, like the force, like a
Mhm.
universal positive and a universal negative, and anyway, but yeah, it's just I love thinking about the emptiness and the vastness of space and just the complete or inability to comprehend what that actually is. Like our brain still can't
No.
comprehend that the
No, like
universe,
there's no way.
not even the size, man. Like every single dot in the sky that you fucking see is a star of another solar system with however many fucking planets and however many fucking whatever, however many light years, millions of light years away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we can see that, and
Well, just the concept of how time changes in that. I know
gravity
you.
differs, man. That's why
I know you've
Interstellar.
seen. I was just gonna say that Interstellar. I know you've seen it. That shit blew my mind.
I love that fucking movie, man, and
Such a good movie.
that really cemented for me Christopher Nolan being one of my favorite directors, man. I fucking loved it. I fucking
Hmm.
loved it. Loved everything about it. And not a huge Matthew McConaughey fan at all. I mean, I like.
Yeah, I am though. I am. I like Matthew McConaughey a lot. And I've heard that though. A lot of people aren't big Matthew McConaughey fans.
Well, it's not that I'm a fan or I dislike him because I mean I like a lot of his shit, but I wouldn't say that I'm like a fan by any means. You know what I mean? He's
Hmm.
definitely not like not. I don't even think I'd put him in my top fucking 20 fucking actors.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'd put him in any top number, but
Yeah, yeah. But he did so good in that movie, man. He did so good. Uh, and I love the concept and the role he played. I mean, I loved it all. And the cast did so fucking well, man. They did such a good job with that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He really did. It's Christopher Nolan. That's what he does.
Oh yeah.
Because he did, and when I first realized who the fuck he was when The Dark Knight came out. Because he directed The Dark Knight, and I remember seeing that when it came out. Like me and my buddy, who's not my buddy anymore, um, we went to go see it the Thursday midnight showing
Mm.
of the very first fucking when they released it. We rated up and we showed up 2 hours early at 10 o'clock, thinking we were going to be early, and it was fucking slammed. And this was the theater in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It wasn't little, you know what I mean? I mean
Yeah.
that's outside Camp Lejeune. You know, it was a pretty sizable fucking theater. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just packed, man. And I remember it was so gangster as fuck because I mean everyone was all cool, you know, in the opening bank robbery scene. Ooh, yeah, it's really cool. But that opening fucking the other scene when the Joker walks into the meeting the criminals are having and he smashes the guy's face on the pencil.
Oh yeah.
I just remember everybody's just you know, everybody's hella fucking like, you know, just so this movie's
Oh yeah.
awesome, you know. And,
That's what that I do. I love opening. I love opening nights for movies for that reason is how pumped everyone is in the theater. It
yeah.
almost doesn't really matter what movie it is. Everyone's just a bit more amped on the opening night.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I remember watching I think it was the second or third Star Wars movie with my mom when it came out in theaters, and that it was when Yoda first whips out his lightsaber, and like the entire theater just blew up when that happened.
Yeah,
That
man.
was cool.
That was like when I was a kid. One of my favorite memories of living on 29 Palms Marine Corps Base when I was a child, because that was the last duty station my dad was at. And I remember as a kid, they built the big theater that's there, and every fucking time you go to a movie on base, on a Marine Corps base, they always play um, the Marines hymn and the national anthem.
Hmm.
And, you know, of course, every time before the movie, all the Marines stand at fucking, you know, fucking POA, position of attention, you know, during the anthem and everything. And at the end, they go, hoorah, you know, and everyone sits back down. But it was, I remember, awesome, man, because it doesn't matter. Every single fucking movie, there will always be loud, obnoxious, dumb jarheads saying stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're a kid, and you know, just being around that, you think it's the coolest thing in the fucking world, man. You know what I mean? All the grown
Hmm.
ups acting so fucking cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the cool Marines and that was just I thought that was just so fucking. I loved it. I loved listening to the fucking smart ass comments from all the dumb jarheads. You know, it was so fun. I like and going to the barracks. You know, with some of my dad's Marines and like I had a cousin who when he joined, I was in like sixth grade, maybe fifth grade, sixth grade, something like that. And he got stationed out there, and he took me to the barracks with him and his buddies. And you know, like I
Hmm.
said, I was like in fifth grade, man. Like I think I was, yeah, about fifth grade. And you know, normal barracks life for a fucking young Marine, for a Lance Corporal fucking Marine in 29 Palms, California. You can imagine it's pretty fucking grotesque inside the barracks room of
Yeah.
a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps. Nothing but you know pornography, video games, and
Yeah.
alcohol. You know,
Oh
and
yeah.
cold
No, I can
pizza.
imagine it.
You know, so I thought it was just you know, I thought I was on a fucking another planet, dude. I always thought it was the coolest thing in the world to go fucking hang out with the Marines. The book I'm reading right now is called "What Everybody Is Saying," and it's a guy named Joe
Yeah, you
Navarro.
told me about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's he's a fucking 20 plus year fucking FBI special fucking agent. You know, teaching fucking behavioral, human behavior, body language, all that shit. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm almost done with it. I'm about fucking three-quarters of the way through, and a lot of it is extremely insightful.
Hmm.
It's just a lot of it of material I've been exposed to already because of one of the courses I had in the Marine Corps is a course called Combat Hunter, and a lot of the curriculum is observation with
Okay.
people and landscape. You know, observing your environment and observing people, human behavior, body language, all that shit. You
It's
know,
kind of
so
cool.
I've been exposed to a lot of the material in the book, but the book just goes way more in depth into the detail and all the nuances and all the small fucking, devils in the detail fucking movements and shit.
Yeah.
And I love it, man, because I really like being able to read people. I
Yeah.
really, and it's
It's
not
a, it's
that
a,
it's not that I like doing it, man. It's just that I feel way more comfortable being able to fucking really observe and get a fucking good basis on the people I surround myself with. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And I really do care about that, So I really do try to fucking obviously by the books I read and everything like that, try to, improve upon my observation skills, reading people being one of them.
mhm.
And it is, man. It's they specifically say that a lot is whenever you read and learn human observation, specifically with body language, man, it really can improve your interactions with people. It can improve
Mm.
the chances of having fucking successful conversations, of a successful debate, of a successful negotiation, whatever the case. When you're able to fucking read how a person is truly feeling and what their body language is telling you,
Mhm.
you have a way better fucking chance of benefiting from your interactions with people.
Well, yeah, it's that basic idea of like knowing your enemy. The more you know, the
Yeah.
stronger you are in the situation.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just what? What? What our Duke is always fucking being big old stupid on it. Oh, buddy. What? What are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? Duke. What? 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 What is it? What is it? What? Shut up, Zoe. Shut up, Zoe. Shut up. Shut up. My dog is so
Who's
stupid.
that?
What's that?
Who's that dog?
That is Zoe. That's my other dog.
Okay.
I have to shush.
I only knew about Duke because it's just giant dog.
Oh yeah, because he's a big old fucking dummy. He's a big old stupid head. Yeah. But do I gotta let you go, man? Is it getting too late over there or what?
Yeah, no, I probably actually should probably get going here soon. Um, yeah, still got school tomorrow.
I felt the energy level start
Yeah,
to
kind of
decline.
faded a little bit.
I felt the I hear my bed calling me.
And it's so shitty because my bed's literally right there.
Literally.
I'm touching my bed right now.
Are you
That's,
really?
yeah, not even kidding. I mean, it's a small apartment, so I got everything all cramped in here, and
I dig
yeah,
it,
so
dude.
it's
It's homey. I love it. It's cozy. I
yeah.
love it. If we could live with kids in a if that was actually a plausible thing to do, I would totally do it because I just love the.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I like the cozy feeling of a small apartment. You're not having a
mhm,
lot of shit. You know what I mean? Maybe it's
definitely.
because I'm lazy and I don't want to walk around my house. But I like the
It's
idea of
too
having all your
far.
shit right there. All right, bro, man. Well, as always, I really, really fucking enjoy talking to you, man.
Hell yeah,
And
man.
I really appreciate you fucking hopping on here and doing this with me, and I really
I,
appreciate you, being on board, loading it up to everything, and all that shit, man.
oh yeah,
It
absolutely.
means a
I
lot.
really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. It means a lot, and I'm just looking forward to fucking just keep on doing shit like this. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I will talk to you manana.
All right, man. See you later.